So a lot of news recently has came out surrounding UFC 300, more specifically the UFC 300 main event. So it was reported yesterday by Ariel Helwani that there are four options for the UFC 300 main event, but this right here was the one that the UFC were really pushing for, which is Leon Edwards versus Khamzat Chimaev for the welterweight title. Now, just talking on this matchup, this makes no sense. This matchup does not make any sense. Khamzat Chimaev is now fighting the middleweight. The reason he's been basically pushed into middleweight is because of how bad he missed the welterweight limit in his last time he was down there, and essentially completely ruined that entire event. Let's not forget the Khamzat Chimaev Nate Diaz pay-per-view card. Khamzat Chimaev absolutely ruined that entire card. Loads of matchups had to be changed because of how bad this guy missed weight. So I don't see how now the UFC can offer this guy not only another fight at welterweight on a big stage, but for the title. And this is the biggest card in the company's history. So, I mean, they're putting a lot of faith in the Khamzat Chimaev here. This matchup, as we know, has been years in the making. Edwards Khamzat was meant to happen during COVID, I believe. Whether it was Leon had to pull out because of COVID, Khamzat had to pull out because of something, it just never happened. But yeah, I mean, stylistically in terms of this matchup, obviously it'd be a 5-rounder because it's for the belt. I feel like Khamzat Chimaev is arguably the greatest first round fighter we've ever seen. But it would be a big weight cut for Khamzat Chimaev. It would be really draining on his body. And obviously he's kind of bulked up into the middleweight division over the past year and a bit. Leon Edwards, obviously, as we know, has great takedown defense. You know, he was able to defend very well against, I mean, Kobe Covington's a bad example because the guy didn't really shoot, but Kamaru Usman. But then again, we've seen how easily Khamzat was able to ragdoll Kamaru Usman. So, sorry, sore throat. But yeah, I feel like Leon Edwards is defensively sound enough, especially on the mat, to make it out of the first round where Khamzat is his most dangerous. And then I feel like from the first round, maybe into the later stages of the second round, that is when Leon Edwards will start to take over and pick Khamzat Chimaev apart on the feet, because I think there's a lot of holes in Khamzat's game when it comes to the feet. I feel like it doesn't really help either that he gasses pretty bad after the first round. But the only other thing is the factor in is it's not as if Edwards fights at a crazy pace either. You know, Leon Edwards isn't going to go out there and put the volume on Khamzat Chimaev. The guy tends to pick his shots. He doesn't really fight at a high volume, which could benefit Khamzat Chimaev. I don't know. For me, if I had to pick right now who I thought would win this matchup, it would definitely be Leon Edwards. Like I've said time and time again now, I don't think anybody at welterweight is going to beat Leon Edwards. I just think the guy is that good. But more development on UFC 300. So then Khamzat Chimaev comes out and says that he will fight everybody. Leon Edwards, Dricus du Plessis, but he will not fight during Ramadan. And Ramadan is when UFC 300 is. So Khamzat Chimaev is not going to be on UFC 300 pretty much. He says now he wants to fight in Saudi Arabia, which the UFC has postponed their Saudi Arabia card to June, I believe, and I feel like the main event of that is going to be Islam Makhachev, because he has stated he wants to fight in June. Saudi Arabia, Islam Makhachev, their first card in Saudi. That's massive for Saudi Arabia and the UFC to have him on there. But yeah, now the UFC is basically, or now Khamzat has said he will not be fighting at UFC 300. Then what do the UFC do now? Because they're talking about, in that video where Ariel Helwani announced this, he said that they've talked about Dricus du Plessis as Real Adesanya, which again would be a great matchup, one I would want to see. But Dricus du Plessis went to absolute war with Sean Strickland a couple of weeks back. And I mean, is he even fully recovered yet to then be able to get back into camp? I don't think so. I think it would be a too quick of a turnaround for Dricus du Plessis, and he has said that the belt means more to him than fighting on UFC 300, so you maybe have to rule that matchup out. Then obviously you have the talks of Tom Aspinall, Alex Pereira. Again, that won't happen. The UFC have a card in Brazil for UFC 301. Why would you then put Alex Pereira at UFC 300 when you can make a mega Brazil card and have the guy main event there? Also, he's just won the light heavyweight belt. He has no defenses. Ignore the voice break. So why would they then move him up to the heavyweight division, especially when Tom Aspinall isn't even the undisputed champion. That doesn't make any sense. Also, let's be honest, Tom Aspinall ragdolls him and finishes him in the first round, let's be honest. So, I mean, the only other options are Bilal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards, which I personally would rather see than Khamzat versus Leon Edwards. I know Khamzat is a big name, but Bilal Muhammad deserves a shot. Let's be honest. I feel like you just have to give this guy's title shot. Now, would I want that to be the UFC 300 main event? Absolutely not. But I'd much rather that than Khamzat Chimaev. A lot of people won't agree with me on that one. That's just my opinion. But I am still holding out for the McGregor Michael Chandler matchup to be the main event of UFC 300. It has to be. Why would you not make this the main event of UFC 300? Both guys are wanting to fight at UFC 300. It's the biggest card in the company's history. It'll be the return of Conor McGregor, the biggest star the company's ever had. It's a big fight for the company, and it'll bring in mega pay-per-view buys. But yeah, I really don't know what's going to happen with UFC 300 at the minute. I mean, it's as if the UFC's in trouble. But let me know your opinion below on UFC 300 and which matchup you like to see main event. And as always, social medias are linked above. I'd appreciate if you could go follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and as well as that, subscribe if you're new, like, comment, share, all that good stuff. It does really help me out. And as always, I will see you again in the next one.